טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יללי, יללי, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יללי, יללי, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is for brothers and sisters to gather and sit together. Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to have a birthday every week if this is... It seems to work. So, we are so pleased to welcome you as we welcome Shabbat together. And we begin as our Bat Mitzvah family lights our Shabbat candles on page 2 and 3.
O source of light and truth, create us of the eternal law of goodness. Help us find the knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary and all who bring the offering of their hearts. May our worship us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. The top of page 6. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in our midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. His presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. We turn to the Kabbalat Shabbat, the welcoming of the Sabbath, with Psalm 95, page 12. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, nekad mafanav todah. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. We turn to the English of Psalm 98, the middle of page 15. Mizmor, a psalm. Sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm has won God victory. Adonai has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness towards the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth beheld the victory of our God. Raise a shout to Adonai, all the earth. Break into joyous songs of praise. We turn to the words of Lachadodi on page 20. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'letila. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lekrat Shabbat lechuvanelcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nisucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavati la. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 5. Hitorari, Ki v'orech kumi ori, Uri, shir daberi, Kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi lekrat kala. Awesome. Pnei Shabbat nekabela. It's awesome. Last verse as we welcome the Sabbath bride together, we rise and welcome her as she joins us in the sanctuary. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'tzohola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. We continue with Reader's Kaddish, page 145.
Yikra v'ikra shemei rabba,
Amen.
Ba'am dira hirte v'yomlik mahute,
B'chayechon uvyomechon, uvayevechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, uvizman kariv.
Ve'imeru,
Amen.
Yehishmei rabba mevora,
Le'alam u'am me'almaya,
Shabbat, v'papar v'mamami, asay, v'tadar, v'hala, v'hala, shemeda kudesha,
Barichu.
ele min ko b'shirata,
Tushbechat avenecha matzah, tamiram b'alma.
Ve'imeru.
Amen. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. Together on 147. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro mariv aravim v'chochma poteach she'arim uvitvuna meshanei itim umachalif et hazmanim umtsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or Uma'avir yom umevi laila, uma'avdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ama'ariv aravim, on 148. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. In each age we are challenged by our ancient teachings. At each moment we stand face to face with truth. In each age we add our wisdom to that which is gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai, Oheb Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. Just before we go on to 150 and the Via Hafta, have you wondered or noticed that different congregations do this slightly differently? There is, when we get to the Via Hafta, we are actually chanting a section that is directly out of Torah. And that's why if you see the page, it actually has extra markings beyond the vowels that we're used to that are there to indicate how things are chanted. Those are called trope marks or cantillation marks. Now, one of the things is in many communities, they do the first paragraph of the Via Hafta, end it together, and then go silent for the rest of the Via Hafta. So when they do that, they use their voice and the cantillation to say, we've come to the end of a section that we're doing, and then we're getting ready to stop. When they introduced the book before this book, where they added the next paragraph of the V'ahavta, and it became the practice to start including that second paragraph chanted as well, we had a really big debate. Do you still stop and do the section that says, we're coming to the end of this section, but we're not really stopping because we're going to keep going? So there was a back and forth, and ultimately, most congregations in the Reform movement made the decision that we're going to use, in the middle there, a tradition, not the regular stop for the end of a verse, because we're not really stopping. Why do the one that says we're stopping if we're not stopping? And so next time you hear that done slightly differently, understand why it's done that way. That it indicates what's going to happen next. So when we do it, even though I know for some of you it's second nature to go ahead and go into the ending verses, know that there is a slightly different way that it is done, and that's the reason why. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot beineinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkiru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher chotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learn God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norat tehilot osefele, Norat tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai la 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai la 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 lai, yai lai la lai lai, yai la 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 lai. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la.
Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadow of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru's the top of the next page. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. As we continue with the words of the Tefillah, beginning on page 155, once again we ask you if you are able to rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi tefillah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Zrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehayeh hakol atah v'Hoshia, Morid hatah, Mechakel chaim behesed, Mehayeh hakol berachamim ramim. Somet noflim verofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emimato, lishenei afar, mihamoha ba'al gevurot, umidom elach, melech memit, Mechayeh, u'matzliach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
middle of 160. Let's read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Be gracious, Adonai, our God, to your people Israel. Love. Oh, may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst, in the midst of our people in Zion. Blessed is Adonai, whose presence renews Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shchinato l'Tzion. The top of 163. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha, lecha na'eh lehodot. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. Bechol eit ubechol shah, bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Praise to you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, amvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We pause for a few moments of silent prayer. Osei shalom bimroma, uya'asei shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Osei shalom bimroma, Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. To the words of Misha Berach, the prayer asking God's healing on those who are in need of healing, whether it is healing of mind, healing of body, healing of spirit. The middle of page 253. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor habracha Laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So a little bit earlier, you saw one of my favorite things about being a rabbi. And it's not just the Hot Wheels, although it is a color-shifting one. Somebody once asked, what's the best thing about being a rabbi? And I said, no 2 days are ever the same. What's the worst thing about being a rabbi? No 2 days are ever the same. Because what you come in the morning and are planned out to do is not necessarily what you're doing by the end of the day. There's always a lot of things that are in flux. Today, my wife did one of those things to me. All of the sudden, you all knew about it. I didn't. So I looked at her and said, oh, that means people are coming. I had planned a much smaller group activity for but I figured we'd go with it anyway. Every once in a while over recent months, I've been using a poem here and there by a poet who comes out of New York, a man by the name of Rich Orloff. He was, for a time, the poet in residence at Congregation and Temple Sinai in Toronto, which just so happens to be the rabbi there. He and I were ordained together, and he was the best man at my wedding. So it really does show you how small the rabbinic world is. And I really started to enjoy some of Rich's poems. They stop and make you think. This week he came up with one, and I've got a few copies. And Abraham, can I use you? And you're going to have to share, because I made the copies assuming I was being generous 30. So thank you. But The reason I didn't hand this one out as you came in with the programs is I know that even if I give you something and say don't read it, you're going to go ahead and read it. So instead of not having you follow directions, I figured I'd pass it out at this point. But the title of the piece is called How to Take a Selfie with God. And this is what he writes. I'm no biblical scholar, but to the best of my knowledge, nowhere in the Torah does it say, be polite unto the Lord. So next time you interact with the divine, consider these possibilities. Be zestful, be silly, be outrageous, be annoyed, be ecstatic, be bitchy, be brokenhearted, be outraged. Question everything, wrestle till exhaustion, catch your breath, and then demand a rematch. Take a selfie with God, snuggle up close. God can handle it. God may even enjoy it. What comes to mind as you read that? Yes? That's okay. Thank you. So it is a very personal interaction with God that we're talking about here. And sometimes we talk about these things in community. We come to God, but this is very personal. Yes? So there's something comfortable about all of these emotions that he's naming, because we can be these with the people who are most important to us in some ways. We can be zestful and silly, outrageous and annoyed. And we can go back and forth between them at any moment in time, right? And that, yes, there's something lovely about thinking about the fact that we might have that relationship with God that's the same as we might sometimes have with our family. I think that can be, shall we say, both a good and a bad? Right? Anything else? So this is not far away. This is the nice fancy term that they use is God is imminent. God is close by. We actually have that interaction with God, right? And sometimes we come in and there's all of the pomp and the circumstance of the service, and I don't know about you, but sometimes those are the moments I feel the furthest away, right? Because they're so formal, they're so distant, they're so, starched, that doesn't always do it for me, right? And I know for some other people, those are the moments of the service they look forward to. And that reminds us of when we have that conversation of people say, I'm spiritual but not religious. And I always want to have the question is, what the hell does that mean? Right? Because I'm not necessarily sure how do we take that kind of thing and bring it into services when it means something different to each person that we're going to ask. How do we make it part of the community when it's a very personal idea? So we have this understanding, and yes, God is not way out there. We're wrestling with God. That's a very Jewish understanding of it. We are meant to wrestle with God, because what does the name Israel mean? The one who strives, the one who wrestles with God, right? So it says, what do? You wrestle till you're out of breath. You take a deep breath and then demand a rematch. It's not over. It's ongoing. And it is something that sometimes we get to the point we say, well, shouldn't I know now? Shouldn't I have an answer? Shouldn't it be clear to me? And I love what the fact that the poem reminds us, absolutely not. We're meant to keep wrestling. We're meant to keep arguing. We're meant to keep asking questions. We're meant to even occasionally be bitchy. Right? Question everything. Wrestle till exhaustion. What does his phrase, taking a selfie with God, bring to your mind? Because I think it's interesting that of all of this, he also uses it as the title. Right? Although the question is if we're taking a selfie with God, is it a selfie or is it an ussie? That's the technical term, because selfie is just one person, the ussie is people together. No, but never mind. Right, well, that's a really interesting question, right? How do you see the person who's next to you, right, in this one, if you're saying that you're taking a selfie with God? Right. Go ahead, Neil? God is always within selfie range for us. I want to say if. Yeah. If that's the way we've chosen to frame the picture. Right? Because we know we've probably all taken the selfies where what are you doing? You're just taking a picture of yourself. Right? You don't leave any space around the outside for anybody else. Right? If we leave the frame available, the possibility is that God will be there. So tonight, as we go through this, I look at this last piece. Take a selfie with God. Snuggle up close. God can handle it. God may even enjoy it. As we go into the beginning of our summer, as we go into a period that gets a little bit quieter, take this poem with you and carry it with you. Try and figure out and send me a picture at some point over the summer when you can say, I've taken a selfie with God. Imagine what that would be to be able to bring together different pictures of the congregation that people have taken over the course of the summer. We'll all see something different, just as we see something different in a poem that we read. God can take it. God may even enjoy it. And we might as well. We turn this evening to the words of the counting of the Omer, the last of our Friday nights with the counting of the Omer, page 278. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Hayom arba'im shmone yom shehem shesh shvuot v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is the 48th day of the Omer, which is 7 weeks and 6 days of the counting of the Omer. 7 weeks and 6 days. 6 weeks and 6. Now you know why I'm not an accountant. The days of the counting of the Omer. Let's turn to the words of Aleinu, the middle of page 282. And once again, I invite you to rise. Aleinu lishabeach ladon hakol, latet gidula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu ki goye haratzot, velo samanu kimishpechot hadama, Shelo samchel kenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We pause even on Shabbat to take a moment to remember those who have gone from this life. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, as we remember the names of Constance England, Bev Abrams, Sarah Milgram, and Yaron Lashinsky. As we also think about those who died at this season in years past, and all of those we have drawn into our hearts as a blessing to our own. We remember the names of LaDonna Alida Alstatter Taylor, Mary Lucille Batiste, Catherine Bender, Robert Brock, Joseph W. Cohen, Celia A. Cooperman, Morris Dweck, Helen M. Eckenberg, Julius Ehrlich, Samuel R. Frankel, Minnie Friedman, Hortense Grada Simon Hamill, Minnie Winston Hirsch, Lena Holzman, Herbert Jacoby, Clarence Kemmerer, Simon Knobloch, Paul Kraft, Austin Kutcher, Francis Laub, Robert Lindy, Rachel K. Loeb, Harold Irving Mitnick, Alvin Moskowitz, Dorothy K.G. Rosenthal, Jacob Rudnick, Ilsa Simon, Carl Simon, Selma Katz Simon, Matthew H. Small, Katie Spillerman, Libby Tamor, Sandra Weisberg, John H. Winston, and Leah Livingston Winston. Zichronam livracha, may the memory of each of those we have named and all those we carry in our hearts forever be a blessing. We turn to the words of Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitchadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kari v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha v'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dami ran be'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. May there be abundant peace from heaven, and life for us, for all Israel and all the world, to which we say, amen. Turning from words that sanctify memory, we turn to Kiddush that sanctifies Shabbat, and I invite those not yet bar or bat mitzvah to join me up here on the bima. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Peri Hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, b'ava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila, L'mikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol hamim, b'shabbat kodecha, Yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. I didn't say yet. Hang on. Whoop. We got one other blessing to do, right?
You got a holla blessing.
Yes, but I got to. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. May your Shabbat be a sweet one, as sweet as the candy. May you enjoy some of the challah. You all may be seated. Oh, get it down. We're going to bring it down. Come on, Nelly. Chocolate. Hey, you little sneaker. That's chocolate. That's a lot.
You took that from my hand.
I promise, it's all, you're seeing everything. Well, I'm going to start doing announcements while they continue to root through this and figure it out, because maybe there's a secret compartment that I don't know about at the bottom here. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock is our monthly learners service. That is in the chapel. It is a chance to spend some time. It is some chance to spend some time as we go through our service, talk about it, see the different parts, and understand the different things about our service. Tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, she came up for her last piece of chocolate tonight, right? As we celebrate the bat mitzvah of Lila Kleiman, and the congregation is welcome to join us for that service. That's 4 o'clock here tomorrow afternoon. I hope nobody else wanted any challah. Other things that are going on, we start it as we get to June. It is time for our annual summer services by the stream. That is the third Friday of each month. That's a 6 o'clock service. We're doing it in exactly the same place as last year. So we hope that you will come out and join us. It is a lovely setting. You can choose to bring dinner with you afterwards, and it's lovely to have people gather to eat together as well as to do the service in a different kind of setting. Also, it's proof to the congregation that I actually have legs, because that's the only time anybody's ever seen me in shorts. Well, almost everybody's only seen. Bruce.
Celebrate a significant birthday, and I was trying to think of what it should be called, and there's only one possibility. One big, beautiful birthday. So the Board of Trustees decided to present you with something in honor of this event, and the first thing we started talking about, a couple of us, was a bottle of Johnny Walker or Macallan. And then we realized, you're going to Scotland. You'll go to the distilleries. So that won't work. What we did settle on is a gift certificate from Amazon for you. Now, you're not allowed to buy paper towels, Kleenex, or any household paper goods with it. The only thing you can do is buy something of interest for yourself.
Thank you.
That you will enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Well.
Oh. It is interesting. This birthday feels different than many of the others. But as Bruce mentioned, we will be heading out to head out to Scotland, but we're going with really good company. My dear friend, Rabbi Larry Mallinger, who was here when we celebrated my 20th, he will turn 60 the day after me. So we are making this a big 60th birthday trip for the two couples together. So I will look forward to it. But Bruce didn't say I couldn't buy books. Let's finish the service as we go to Shalom Aleichem, page 323. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeidchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat Shalom.